A member of Chinese StarkWare community. This community was issued by Liu Yang 1 year ago. Like we did a lot of like translation and meet up for StarkWare in China, in many cities. Like this is our Twitter page.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Then nice to meet you, Eli. Yeah, it's an honor to have you here. Could you introduce you a little bit, so we know you very well?
Yeah. Okay. My name is EliBen Sasson. I'm co-founder and president of StarkWare. I started my career as a theoretical computer scientist and a researcher, and I was one of the first to explore the realization in code of various proof systems, and was one of the first to notice the connection between proof systems and blockchains. I was co-founder of the Zcash and cryptocurrency, and I'm co-founder of StarkWare.
Zuzalu was an old friend of you, still
still
friend
is.
of you.
Yes, definitely, yes.
Yeah. So now he participated in StarkWare or not, or just?
Well, he's running the Zcash company.
Okay.
The Zcash company, okay, separate.
Okay, separate, yeah. Like StarkEX, recently it reaches to maybe 1 trillion trading volume. It's a milestone for both StarkWare and Ethereum. Do you mind introduce the history of StarkWare, the StarkEX?
Yeah.
How did you come up with these ideas?
Yeah. So StarkWare was founded in 2018, roughly 5 years ago. We're 4 co-founders. Uli Kolodny, the CEO, a very close friend of mine for many years. My PhD student who was co-inventor of Starks, Michael Ryabtsev, and Professor Alessandro Chiesa, who was a co-founder of mine at Zcash. And StarkEX was the first product that we came up with. It's the first use of Stark technology, or in general, validity proofs on Ethereum in a product. It's the first system to serve real customers in real use cases. We have a large number of customers and even more folks who are their end users. There's Immutable X, Sorare, DYDX, Rhino, Canvas, a bunch of others. And we are near the 1 trillion mark of cumulative volume. I think we'll probably cross that in the next month or two. And we've minted over 100 million NFTs for our users on multiple systems, and it's a system that we're very proud of. It helps scale Ethereum.
Okay, like in the landscape of Layer 2, how do you see the future of StarkWare? How to compete with other Layer 2 projects?
So I think we have the best technology, and we're going to be first to market. We are first to market, we have the correct developer tools, the very best programming language. We have account abstraction integrated fully into our system, which is going to make very good user experience for end users. And we have the most performing proving technology, which can reach very massive scale. So I think in any scenario, world of Layer 2s will probably have a very large contribution from Starknet.
Okay, for the specific technology, it's about Cairo language, right? Could you introduce more about it?
Yeah, so Cairo is the next version programming language for smart contracts. It has things like account abstraction, storage proofs built into the basic level that can be very, very useful for developers. It is also Rust inspired, which means that it is very ergonomic for developers to use, and it's also very, very safe in terms of making sure that developers don't introduce bugs. So it's all in all, a really, really good, modern, novel programming language. And the reason it was created was because we understood that in order to generate very efficient Stark proofs, you need an efficient language to go with that.
Okay, why do you think that the Cairo language is better than maybe ZKEVM, maybe other languages? Yes, other projects.
Yeah. So I'll give an analogy. Solidity is not
efficient.
Well, okay. Solidity is not as efficient and fun to write in as Python is, right? It has worse tooling, but still, if you want to do things in blockchains, you're going to use Solidity. It is the right language that is integrated into the model. Likewise, if you want to generate Stark proofs efficiently for massive computations, millions of transactions, put things like gameplay on-chain, right? Something that has not been achieved so far. You need to have very efficient proof generation. And for that, you're going to get much better efficiency, probably by 10 to 100x better from Cairo compared to a ZKEVM. You get probably 100x better performance in the proving by moving to this architecture.
Okay, so how Stark, what's the difference between StarkEX and StarkNet, and how Cairo language functions in the StarkNet? Yeah.
Right, so StarkEX, which is also written in Cairo, in the same programming language, is a dedicated system that does certain things very well, but it's a special purpose system. It deals well with minting and trading of NFTs, with transfers and swaps and things like that. But if you want to craft general purpose logic, then you can't do that on StarkEX. StarkNet is a language, StarkNet is a layer 2, and it has full functionality. You can write any computation that you want, you can craft in it. And in particular, you can, it comes with a safer version of Cairo, which still compiles to the same Cairo that StarkEX uses, and that is called Cairo 1.0. It's a safer language for developers that is also very ergonomic and convenient to write in.
How to onboard more developers to StarkNet or to Cairo language?
Well,
this is a new language.
Yeah, it's a process we're very much putting efforts into, and it's working pretty well. There's a lot of documentation and tutorials and tooling that is being developed and released already out there. I myself, I'm not a programmer, but still I managed to do, there's this thing called Starklings. It's a very cool way to learn Cairo by, it's based on the Rust program called Rustlings that gives you like buggy code that you need to debug. It's a very funky thing. I recommend the developers to try and do it. And there's a lot of information out there on the web on how to enter the ecosystem.
Okay, the last question is about decentralization. Yes, many projects may dwindling after like how StarkNet or StarkWare do decentralization. Yeah.
We're putting a lot of thoughts and research into it, but we have we've released, actually Ilya, who's sitting here, is leading this research. We've released already several thought pieces on our community forums about how we think about decentralization, and we're now getting closer to finalizing the decentralized protocol that will be based on some, a highly used and very safe consensus protocol. We will fully decentralize both the sequencing, the generation of new blocks, and the proving process. Both of these are going to be fully decentralized.
Decentralized sequencing?
Yes, there will be a proof of stake way, so basically it will be stake based to select the next sequencers. Okay. And the proving will also be based on stake.
Okay, now who are the sequencers?
Oh, anyone can be a sequencer.
Oh.
Right now there's a single operator, but we're in the training wheels stage. So right now there's a single operator. Yeah, single operator. Right now it's StarkWare. Very soon it will be the Starknet Foundation. But within less than a year, we'll probably have the decentralized protocol released, and then it will be a proof of stake like system. So anyone who has enough stake, or purchases enough stake, or obtains enough stake, can decide to stake, and then become a sequencer, just like on Ethereum, being a validator or a miner on Ethereum.
Okay. Maybe just one more question just to come up in my mind. Yeah. How do you like the Optimism stack, which recently launched by Optimism? Like, do you think that is a good product? Maybe one day Starknet will also do this?
Okay, I like the team and the developers, but I think what they are doing is completely irresponsible. They're releasing technology with no security turned on. I think, and the reason it's important for me to call this out is because users are entrusting funds with this, and they should be aware that the fraud-proof technology is not turned on.
Okay.
It's not turned on. So like, it would be, I'll give you an analogy. It's like Starknet would come out with no proofs. Now we would never do that. It would be completely irresponsible and I think, and dangerous, in fact. So like, we're post this FTX thing and post a lot of like, Luna and all kinds of bad things that happened. But like, so far the security of our systems has not been challenged. Now, here, I mean, it's just, an optimistic rollup that doesn't have fraud proofs turned on and claims to be mainnet is a very dangerous thing for users.
Maybe not only the technology, but like, what coin now they want to use the Optimism stack. That is a tool that can help a lot of projects on board on their ecosystem, like Based, the new chain. It's a little bit like Cosmos, IBC, like that.
Yeah, but people should be aware that the core technology of fraud proofs, I don't know if it's been developed at all, but it is not turned on. So it's like you're given a car, you're saying, don't worry, there's whatever, it's safe to drive, it has brakes, it has what's it called, seat belts, it has airbags, and it has none of those. So it's not a safe car to drive, especially if it's sold to you as something that is safe. So I'm saying the fraud proofs are not turned on, and it's a big problem.
Okay, that makes
now we
sense.
will never be in a situation where we release a version of Starknet with no proofs. I can't even imagine thinking about that. Like
So currently, who is the prover?
Currently, the prover is the single sequencer and operator. But just to clarify, the big difference between a validity proof system like Starknet and an optimistic system is that even if the operator would like to steal all the funds, it is impossible because you have a verifier contract on layer 1, and the state on layer 1 will not change without a valid proof. And even the single operator cannot generate a valid proof of an invalid state transition. Whereas on the optimistic rollups, the way it works is by the name, it's optimistic. So anyone can submit a state change, including a fraudulent one. Well, what happens if someone decides, if the single operator decides to put a new state where all the funds are stolen? In an optimistic rollup, the thing that should happen is that someone raises a flag and there's an arbitration process going on. But that whole mechanism is not turned on. It's just not turned on. So if it's not turned on, there's nothing that prevents a hacker from controlling that one computer, putting the system in a state where he stole all funds, and that's it. Again, this can happen tomorrow if a hacker compromises Optimism. It cannot happen even if a hacker compromises Starknet.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
For
Thanks.
your time. Yes, it's a great fun.